Hey there, everybody. Merry Christmas Eve or Christmahana Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate or whatever you don't celebrate. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you're going to red pill the heck out of your family over dinner, right? So anyway, just wanted to send you guys off with one more video before Christmas tomorrow. Likely be a couple days before I'll get one of these in again. So today, we're going to discuss some breaking cues. Hashtag Sunday Punday. We're going to talk about Trump and his tweets and his war versus the FBI. We'll talk about some news coming out regarding the coroner's verdict on the Las Vegas shooter. We'll also discuss a lot of the UFO articles that are continuously circulating around the mainstream media. They're continuously drilling these ideas into your head, our heads. And we'll also talk some SpaceX too. Give you guys some of my theories on some of Elon Musk's weird tweets, right? And then I got some other kind of miscellaneous stuff I'll share with you guys. And so that's that. And then lastly, before we get into the news, I want to tell you guys that a lot of you have suggested that I open a cryptocurrency wallet to basically accept donations, and I've done that. So kind of messing around with the crypto stuff, you can check the description below this video, and you can, it'll be the whatever like 20 or 30 character thing they give you that links to your wallet. So anyway, crypto, go check it out if you would like to. I appreciate it all. But anyway, first we'll talk about news, and then again, under the description of this video, I'm going to link these websites that I'm going to show you. So this first one I came across, was sent my way, and apparently, I don't want to say apparently, but so this website is a collection of all of Q's posts since the very beginning, since the last couple days of October. You know, he's almost up to, he's in the mid 400s now, 430 almost. So I'm going to link this down below all my vids, and this will take you, it's real time too. It's a real time feed. So wherever Q posts, because I know 8chan can be a little confusing, regardless of what thread or board, I want to say, Q posts on, it'll show up here. So go check them out. And to discuss some Q stuff, let me zoom in here so you can see it. We'll go down to some of his posts on yesterday, 23rd. So I'm going to start right here. This is the interesting one. Okay, this is the one that kind of made 8chan go a little nutso yesterday. I'm learning 8chan a little bit better, so I'm actually kind of lurking around on that, and I figured out how to post and reply and stuff. It's interesting. But anyway, this one, post December 23rd. Note the timestamp, 1:22, 13:22. It always adjusts to your specific time zone as well. So whenever you see this, that's just based on where you're at. So 13:22. Search crumbs, number 2. Who is number 2, right? Notice the timestamp, 13:22. Let's go to Donald Trump's Twitter. And this made the news yesterday. Donald Trump's war on the FBI. We'll talk about McCabe and all that in a sec when I show you an article. But I just want to show you the timestamp here. So this Q post, search crumbs, number 2. Who's number 2? Number 2 could very well be referencing number 2 in the FBI, McCabe. Who stepped down yesterday? McCabe, right? And lastly, again, the timestamp, Donald Trump tweets about McCabe, number 2, 12:27. 3 minutes after this, or I should say this is probably an hour ahead of me. But anyway, so basically Donald Trump tweeted 5 minutes after Q posted. It's very, very interesting. And doesn't look like it here. I guess that's might be a little wrong. But you can go back through the boards and check it out. Speaking of that, I'm going to post the most current board on 8chan under each of my vids. So it looks like the most current one is like 195. And I'll go ahead and post this under all the vids because I know some of you guys out there don't know 4chan. It can be a little, or 8chan, it can be a little confusing. So, you know, below the vids, you'll just get the most recent links if you don't want to take the time to discuss all this. But anyway, so that was an interesting thing that happened with these posts yesterday. What else? Yeah, here it is. So 5 minutes before Trump posted again, and Q is discussed. So it's basically, I mean, it's more corroborative evidence that shows that these Q posts are aligned with this alliance, right? Whoever Q is, I mean, we can speculate. Honestly, it's kind of like a waste of time to speculate right now because our energy and efforts, in my opinion, should be more focused on deducing these posts, deducing these breadcrumbs. This one was funny right here. Who is meeting in secret right now? We see you, we hear you, you evil, sick bastards are stupid. So a couple of the theories was that the UN was meeting, but also could have been the Bohemian Grove as well. Some anons were looking into those two things. I'm not sure, but those two sound interesting. And though Bohemian Grove, I mean, Q keeps referencing owls. Grove, owl, if you understand what the Bohemian Grove is. So could be, you know, makes sense with this one, meeting in secret. Right here, he's corroborating the timestamps of his posts, just kind of helping. It's interesting because I was actually looking at 8chan right when Q was posting yesterday, following the whole feed. And sometimes when the anonymous posters on 8chan aren't necessarily getting it, aren't getting the crumbs, it looks like that Q goes more direct and actually tries to assist. He never tells, he never directly says, but sometimes he does get more direct in his postings. And this one, he was referencing timestamps, important countdown markers. You know, it's very symbolic. There's deep metaphors in this one. Here's the post. So, bam, shows you how 5-minute difference between Trump's post and the Q's post here. Let's see, graphics should be in the same time zone Q is referencing. And anyway, last one here as well. Most recent Q post is this picture. Freedom, Patriots. Which is very interesting because this being the last post Q made, it's actually the same picture as one of the very first ones, which was the 12th one right here. I just found this. So, you know, who knows? Who knows what that means? Maybe it means something's real close. A lot of people are speculating that something might go down on the 27th due to some of the symbolism in the Q posts, meaning a countdown was in order, and that countdown is ending in like 2 days or something like that. So something might happen. Again, something might not. Don't put all your eggs in the basket, but don't be surprised if things start popping off. So that's what I wanted to discuss by way of Q. Post these links below. We talked about McCabe retiring early, and it's great because he said he's retiring once he, in 90 days, so he can get his pension plan, right? Everybody's pissed at that. They want him to basically quit. Many people want him to go out in handcuffs, which I think might be necessary. We talked about Donald Trump's Twitter. Here's an interesting one on Zero Hedge. Wife of Fusion GPS founder admits her husband was behind the fake Russiagate story. So check it out, man. This chick, who was Glenn Simpson's wife, was literally, somebody found a Facebook post of hers from the summertime. It was about in July, where she was literally bragging. Right here, this is what it said. It says, "It's come to my attention that some people still don't realize what Glenn's role was in exposing Putin's control of Donald Trump. Let's be clear. Glenn conducted the investigation. Glenn hired Chris Steele. Chris Steele worked for Glenn." So it's kind of obvious that this document was fabricated, and there's some more connections there. I'll link that down below, and you can do some more reading on that. It's a huge, complicated story, this whole Fusion GPS thing, and basically just what's happening is it's exposing the FBI, it's exposing the bad actors. So you can check that out. Let's talk about this SpaceX launch yesterday. So we had this SpaceX launch one of their Falcon rockets, right? And it went over Southern California. They launched it from Vandenberg Air Force Base. And a lot of people seeing this rocket in the sky were freaked out, right? And thought it was, you know, some kind of UFO and all that jazz. Now, it was a rocket, right? And these little dots right here is it parting with its stages. So I don't think there was any UFO involvement in this. You know, total rocket. No conspiracy like that behind the sighting. Although, check out Elon Musk's posts from 2 days ago. He says, nuclear alien UFO from North Korea, right? Multiple things I want to mention here. First of all, it's interesting because in reference to the Q drops, a lot of those supposed connections involve Elon Musk and North Korea. SpaceX, or Elon, getting $5 billion in government subsidies a couple of years ago. Well, that was likely to help North Korea, as the CIA proxy it is, become more technologically advanced in their nuclear weaponry and their ballistic missile technology. So him saying nuclear and North Korea in the same Twitter post, what's he trying to do? Is he trying to have some kind of plausible deniability, right? As if this story started blowing up. He goes, oh, they got that from those crazy conspiracy theorists got that from a Twitter post, right? Yeah, you see the mind games? And not only this, but he's saying alien UFO, right? He's getting that alien meme into our heads. And right here, he then posts, so strange that people often believe things inversely proportionate to the evidence. Given a set of possible explanations, why pick the extremely unlikely one? So he's kind of ridicule, right? He's ridiculing those who believe in UFOs, which is unfortunate, you know? But here's another thing, right? This launch, and I've kind of speculated on this one, what if it was to gauge public perception? What if that was one of the underlying roles in it? So they light this off. They know people are going to think it's a UFO, right? Especially because all of these UFO stories have been circulating in the mainstream media for the past couple of weeks. So these ideas are seated in people's consciousness. So they shoot off the rocket, which it wasn't a surprise. It was publicized, but, you know, it wasn't publicized that heavily. So they shoot it off, and they want to gauge how people perceive it. So they want, parentheses deep state, they want to see what people are going to act like with some giant projection in the sky. Now, this wasn't a UFO, this was a rocket, but as many know about Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam staging like a false flag kind of pseudo UFO kind of alien invasion. What if this was just to gauge people's perceptions of that? What if there was an underlying reason for this UFO to be shot off, and that was to see, hey, maybe we got to see if Project Bluebeam is still viable. We got to see if these people, somebody said Project Blue Balls. We got to see if this, we can still do this project, right? If people are still scared enough. You notice, in all these memes circulating around about UFOs, they try to program our subconsciousness to be fearful of it. They call them aerial threats now, right? That's the name of the Pentagon program that's being disclosed in the mainstream media the past couple weeks. They're aerial threats. Many of these UFOs are just freaking orbs in the sky. Not threats at all. Many of them. Some of them aren't, but, you know, poor UFOs just making the crop circles over in England. I guess they're threats to us. So, yeah, it was basically, that's one thought of mine about this SpaceX launch. What if it was just to gauge public perception to see if Bluebeam could be a viable option? That's just some thoughts on that. Anyway, that's what I want to discuss regarding SpaceX. Speaking of the UFO articles, continuously circulating around the deep state propaganda media outlets. This one in CNN. It's an op-ed article by a physicist. Literally says, keep looking for UFOs. It's like they're trying to get people to start taking this stuff seriously because it's society is so numbed that, you know, when they want, it's kind of a catch-22 here. When they want someone to take this issue seriously, people aren't for so long. I don't know. I'm not going to go off on that tangent. But anyway, media still telling you to keep looking for UFOs. The Telegraph here saying the existence of UFOs proved beyond reasonable doubt, says former Pentagon X-File chief. And that's another thing they're starting to say is this X-Files thing. They're trying to, oh my gosh, get people to start thinking that the X-Files is actually a real thing. Because it was, you know, it's based off many real events. But you can see the psychological operations in play and to really get people to take this seriously. And there's this again, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Let's see here. And funny enough, so Harry Reid is now getting in on these false flag UFO disclosures, right? Not only is Podesta, he's been in on it for a while now, but Reid's come out saying the truth is out there. He tweeted that on December 16th when these articles first dropped. Well, just yesterday, Rand Paul went to Twitter Town on Harry Reid and was basically trolling him a little bit. He said on that same subject, I have a major happy Festivus airing of grievances with my friend Senator Reid. We argued about taxes, fought about spending, worked on repatriation together. I helped treat your eye injury. How is it you've never told me about the aliens, Harry? Wow, that was interesting. That's very, very odd to be posting on Twitter. And again, like a week after these articles first dropped. Why did he wait a week, right? Well, the answer to that, the supposed answer to that, comes by way of Victory of the Light Twitter. And, oh no, where'd you go? Let me bring that back up here. So, the Victory of the Light Twitter. I've mentioned this one before, and not sure if you're familiar with this guy or his page, but he is supposedly connected to certain people that know some things. That's all I want to say right now. You can check out him and his story and what he said. I just don't want to say anything I'm not supposed to. But anyway, this is an interesting one right here. So he's claiming that if you're all wondering why Rand Paul is going hard at Senator Reid over keeping extraterrestrial intelligence, ETI knowledge, close to the vest for years, here's the simple answer. Certain members of Congress have received disclosure briefings, including facts that we're not alone, and are in contact, and they're pissed. Right? Makes some sense, given Rand Paul's Twitter rampages, and maybe these certain members of Congress are the ones that they've basically accepted, or they understand that they're not part of the deep state or something to that effect. So I don't know. Interesting. I wonder what 2018 is going to bring. I wonder if this is possible that certain members of Congress are getting briefed. So be interesting to see what these certain members might be saying in the future. And the last few things I just want to share with you guys. Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock killed himself with a gunshot to the mouth, as so the coroner says. But here's the interesting part. Not sure if you remember, but right after this happened, the official story was that the SWAT team members, or the police officers, stormed into the room and killed him, right? Wasn't that the original story? So why is the coroner now saying that Stephen Paddock killed himself? And is the coroner being forced to say this? Who knows? But, Fox News being Fox News, props to them. They've continuously, like I always say, they're surprising me with the truth that they seem to try to get out. And they're not letting this Las Vegas story die like so many other mainstream outlets are. So, you got to always be wary of what you see on mainstream media. Anywhere, actually. But in looking at what Fox News has been reporting, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. 5 years ago, me would have been like, holy shit, this isn't possible. But things change. This is a funny story. So, a gift-wrapped horse turd brings bomb squad rushing to the U.S. Secretary's swank digs. So, basically, there was a package left outside of Stephen Mnuchin's, hope I'm getting that right, Mnuchin's house in Bel Air. Triggered a huge response by the Secret Service and the LA police. Turned out to just be a piece of crap. But here's the funny point. I don't know if these connect in any way, but this man, the Treasury Secretary, he was the one that was primarily mentioned in that recent executive order about human rights abuse, right? And a lot of people are getting excited over this executive order because it's literally basically saying that there's going to be, what do you want to call it? Attacks, forces, missions in play against human traffickers and people abusing human rights, about corruption, because this executive order just does not extend to the people that were listed in it. It says right in here it extends to pretty much everybody. And let's see, any foreign person, it says here, determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, are subject to the effects of this executive order. So is it some kind of coincidence that the Secretary of the Treasury would have a kind of prank done on him? I mean, it turned out just to be a bag of shit, but, again, no coincidences. I'm just wondering if these things are connected. Last two things I want to share with you guys. This is interesting. So 3,500 occult manuscripts will be digitized and made freely available online thanks to Da Vinci Code author Dan Brown. So a ton of esoteric wisdom. Now, mind you, side note, when you see the word occult doesn't automatically mean negative or nefarious. Occult simply means to be hidden in Latin. So occult could mean, yes, there's negative occult people out there, but there's also positivity in certain occult practices, certain hidden practices. There's been secret societies throughout time that have hidden occult knowledge because humanity just basically isn't ready for it. And they don't want certain occult knowledge slipping into nefarious hands that might do wrong things with it, right? So with that in mind, with there actually being, kinds of secret societies out there that are positive in nature, trying to benefit humanity, are they now declassifying certain manuscripts to get this information out there? A lot of these manuscripts involve Hermetic wisdom. One of them includes the Corpus Hermeticum of 1472, the source work on Hermetic wisdom, right? If you've been following me for quite a while, I've mentioned this occasionally, is Hermetic wisdom, and a book I would suggest to you called The Kybalion. Great stuff. It's very archetypal. It helps you literally understand everything, helps you understand cosmic law, which can better help you understand science, spirituality, all of it. You might recall, or I should just say, some of the Hermetic laws, for instance, the law of correspondence, as above, so below, that comes from Hermetic wisdom. Or the idea that all is mind, we live in a mental universe, that comes from Hermetic wisdom. It's been said that Ralph Waldo Emerson and, my guess would be even Walter Russell and many other great names throughout history studied Hermetic wisdom. So it's very deep. It takes an extremely deep understanding to read it. Or, reading it will give you a deep understanding. That's what I want to say. It's not coming to me quite quick tonight. But anyway, big news. I think this is bigger news than is been. I just haven't seen it anywhere. I found it today, and it was posted 4 days ago. Shared 30,000 times almost, but I just saw this. But I think it's important. I think this is going to be bigger news than we realize and mean something. It's gonna de-occult a lot of stuff about mysticism, alchemy, Gnosticism, spirituality and religion. Big news, guys. And all thanks to Da Vinci Code author Dan Brown, right? What if Dan Brown is associated with the Alliance, right? It's kind of looking like it, with him writing these very kind of revealing books. Da Vinci Code, was it Angels and Demons in the Inferno one? I'm not exactly too familiar with his work, but yeah, maybe he got some stuff out into the public there. I don't know. And then last thing, Mattis makes a rare surprise trip to Guantanamo Bay to visit U.S. troops. And this is occurring at the same time that Raul Castro is stepping down as the leader of Cuba. Again, don't know if these things coincide. Don't know if there's something deeper we're not seeing in how they're connected. But it's interesting. And then, last little hope, my hope for the holidays is that I'm hoping James Mattis made that trip down to Guantanamo Bay to give it a good look over, because that's where we're about to send all the deep state perps, right? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Send them all just to Guantanamo Bay while we get the trials done, right? That would be cool. But anyway, that's what I want to share with you guys this Christmas Eve, Chris Mahana Kwanzaa. Again, whatever you guys celebrate. Have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful Monday. Might be a couple days before I see you guys again. But of course, depends on what happens in the world. So I'll be checking in again with you guys very soon, and have a beautiful evening.